Good morning. It is Friday, and the voice that you're hearing right now is Nicole because our fearless leader, George, is taking another break.
What was he thinking?
I don't know.
Why can't I take a vacation?
You know what? I think we all need a little self-care, and I'm actually going to be taking a couple days because I'm at that point where if I don't use my vacation, it's gone.
Oh, you can't let it go.
That's a problem.
Well, and honestly, I encouraged George to take a vacation because I'm going for a week in October, and I didn't want to feel guilty about this. I'm going to the mountains too, so.
Well, that voice that you hear is also Molly Myers-Labady. She is my co-host today, and as you've heard before, she is a frequent co-host on our show. So hello, Molly.
Love it. Hello, Nicole.
Hello, Gage at the board.
Good morning, ladies.
And our guest this morning is Jack Rothstein, and he is the Director of Library Services at Brainfuse, which we're going to talk about a little bit in the second half of our show. But hello, Jack.
Good morning.
It's so nice to have you with us.
So very nice to be here.
It is another beautiful morning another beautiful Friday morning in Delaware. A gorgeous week, the fair, the jug, all of the wonderful things.
Exciting.
Yes.
All exciting.
So, Molly, what have you been reading?
Oh, I'm excited to talk about this one. See, I'm just following exciting. So I read this book a few weeks ago and put it aside because I knew it was perfect to read or talk about on the radio.
Oh, good.
It is called Girl Waits with Gun. It's book 1 in the Kopp Sisters series written by Amy Stewart.
Oh.
Now, the great thing about this, I'll give you the rundown. Constance Kopp is out with her little sister, Florette. They are in their buggy driving along when they get hit by a car. Now, the guy who hits the buggy, luckily everybody comes out okay, just a couple scrapes and things, tries to deny it. Well, Constance is not going to put up with that.
Right.
She's going to get her money when they drive off.
Mm-hmm.
So she shows up at his business. He's in the silk industry in Patterson. This is all in like the 1915s,
Right.
1920s.
Well, when you said buggy and car, I was like Amish country today or
buggy and car,
historical.
historical. So he and his buddies, after she demands the money, decide they're going to harass Constance and her sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have their own family secret, which I'm not going to give you because it's one of my favorite parts to get surprised with in the plot. But they are not going to put up with this. They end up, after being harassed, windows, broken with rocks, shot at, things like that, getting a gun and learning how to protect themselves. Constance even goes so far to be bait for the police.
Oh.
Now, the great thing is, as you can tell, this book is a lot of fun. I did the audio. It was wonderful. But a really fun part of it is if you go to Amy Stewart's website, for the books in the series, she has a signature cocktail you can make
at
amystewart.com.
Mm-hmm.
For Girl Waits with a Gun, it is an automobile cocktail, a glass of gasoline with a nut in it.
Well, okay, but wait. I really need to know what's actually in that.
There is Applejack, gin, sweet vermouth, blackberry jam, and sparkling wine.
Okay.
And if you want the full recipe, go to amystewart.com.
I love that.
And they have a conversation with Amy Stewart because the best part of this book is the Kopp sisters are real.
Oh.
This really happened. They were really hit by a man named Henry Kaufman who, harassed them and did all sorts of bad things. Now, it's a fictional, historical fiction, but she really played off these 3 sisters. Constance is like this giant. She was extremely tall, extremely strong. They were in the papers all over the country. I mean, the Kopp sisters were something else. So if you're looking for a good escape mystery, this is the series for you. This was awesome. I cannot wait to get the second one now because I want to see what Constance is going to get up to in the next series.
That is so much fun. Okay, give us the title one more time.
It is Girl Waits with a Gun by Amy Stewart.
Very fun. And I love all the little tie-ins and the drink.
And the drink.
Yeah. If you're having your own virtual book club, you can make your own drinks.
Oh my gosh.
Cheers each other
This
that
one
way.
would be so great for a book club.
Yeah.
So great. Now, I've gotten in trouble for my book club suggestions before. They do cause good conversation, but normally because nobody liked the book. But this one, I'm pretty sure, is a win.
At least she's honest.
I am.
All right. Well, Jack, you mentioned a little bit that you had been doing some reading. What would you like to share with our listeners this morning?
Well, I'm early into the Hamilton biography that I'm a little bit late to that. I'm sure some of your folks may have already read this. I've really enjoyed the play, the musical, so I thought I'd check on the biography to see how closely it jives up with the historical accuracy. But I'm fairly recently into that. So don't tell me what happens at the end. I haven't gotten that far.
Well, and that is quite a tome, if I remember.
Yeah, that's the Ron Chernow written one. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. He writes meaty books.
Yes.
I will share something that I have recently finished and actually have reread this a few times over the years that many of your listeners may not be familiar with. But if they like fiction, kind of a quest type story, Fool on the Hill by Matt Ruff is an old time favorite. And it takes place on the Cornell campus in that community in New York. And there are elves and dragons and
my kind of book here.
But it's all placed in modern days. So it's kind of a throwback, diabolical plots. The girl, the guy, the girl saves the guy saves the girl. All kinds of really good stuff. So Fool on the Hill from Matt Ruff, I would recommend to those that like that type of story.
That sounds amazing. And I just wrote it down.
Excellent.
Because I'm actually rather intrigued by that as well. My book takes it a little bit in a different direction.
Your book made me cry.
Oh my gosh. Well, I haven't finished it yet, so we'll see.
I'll be quiet.
I could finish it in a minute if I really gave it a chance. But I went on a quick little road trip this weekend. I drove 2 hours back to where my parents live, and I had my girls in the car, and I always try and listen to something PG while I have my girls in the car. So I usually go for something, a children's book, but like a longer chapter kind of style children's book. My daughter, Wynn, and I, she's 5 and a kindergartner, we had listened to The One and Only Ivan on one of our drives. And so this time we went with another book by Katherine Applegate, which is called Crenshaw. Yeah. And so this story is about Katherine Applegate, if you don't know her, she wrote The One and Only Ivan, which is a winner of the 2013 Newbery Medal. Crenshaw had spent 20 weeks on the New York Times children's bestseller list. Fun fact, I didn't know this. She and her husband were the co-writers of Animorphs.
I knew that. That's how I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
She did those way before she ever started these touching, wonderful pieces.
Yeah.
But the Animorphs they survive.
Oh my gosh,
When a kid finds those, it's
a
magic.
big series, yeah. Home of the Brave was another one. So that's Katherine Applegate. This story, Crenshaw, is about a boy who is in elementary school. He's about a 5th grader. He has a little sister who's about a kindergartner. And his family has fallen on hard times, and they're dealing with homelessness, which is a really heavy topic for a children's book. And the boy feels a lot of responsibility to his family. He feels like he's the one who has to keep it all together. And as a younger child, when he was in kindergarten, he had developed this relationship with this imaginary friend named Crenshaw. Crenshaw is a large 6-foot-tall cat and who walks on hind legs and, usually welcomes with a kind of sly meow.
Meow.
And then but then he begins to talk. He's not silly. He has a lot of purpose to being there, and but he adds a nice touch to the story. But our main character, Jackson, he is a little bit annoyed that Crenshaw is around. He's like, listen, you were here when I was a kid. That's all fine and good, but not now. Okay, I'm older. I'm wiser.
Yes.
I don't need you anymore. But as we come to find out with all of the difficulties that Jackson's family is going through, he does need him.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's
I need a Crenshaw.
It's a really sweet, heartwarming story, of course, in all of the style of Katherine Applegate. Listening to it on audiobook, it's a 3-hour audiobook, and it moves very quickly.
It's a great, I think I read it on a road trip way back when. It's a really great road trip book.
Yeah, and if you picked up the book, you would finish it in a sitting. If you were reading it with your child, it would still keep up a good pace. You could read 3 or 4 chapters at night before they go to bed, and they would feel like they were getting away with something because they got more than one chapter because they're very short chapters. But yeah, so I would recommend it highly. It's called Crenshaw by Katherine Applegate. It's very sweet, though it does does have heavy topics, it really makes it relatable to kids.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to talk with our guest, Jack Rothstein from BrainFuse, about a new product that is going to help students in schools.
So excited about this.
We'll be back. Welcome back. You are listening to Off the Shelf. I am your main host today, Nicole Fowles, Communications Manager at the Delaware County District Library, joined by Molly Myers-Lebeatty.
Hello.
Our wonderful Deputy Director.
I love being here.
You're amazing. And of course, our guest today is Jack Rothstein, who is the Director of Library Services at a company called BrainFuse, and he is talking about a product called Help Now that we just implemented in our library. So, Jack, what is Help Now, and how is it going to help us now?
Sure. So, well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. So, Help Now, in a nutshell, provides access to live tutors for students that may be struggling with a homework assignment or a concept and need a little extra help. And it's wonderful for the library to offer this to the community because I'm fond of saying, through this subscription, there's a tutor on call 7 days a week, 9 hours a day, Sunday through Saturday, 2 to 11, for any student or patron in the community that needs help. And all you need is a library card to access our tutors. Also, there may be some families out there that have a private tutor to help their children. But even if you can afford a private tutor, you may see your tutor once a week or twice a week. And if I see my tutors on Wednesdays, but it's Monday and I'm stuck now, I need some extra help. So there's access to the live tutors. There's also a writing lab. So if I'm working on a paper, I can send my paper to the writing lab, and within 24 hours, we will critique your paper and send it back with feedback and comments.
Why were you not around when I was in college? Why were you not around then?
Exactly.
That's that brings up a really great question, Molly. Do you have an age range for students who can use this product? Would you consider college students, or is it mostly K through 12?
It's K through adult learners.
Oh, wow.
So absolutely, college students can use this. Now, with a bit of a caveat, I think it's going to be probably a better resource for early stage or entry level college students.
Okay.
For more advanced, there may be some other resources available to them that may be a better fit. But for instance, the writing lab, sure, they're welcome. A college student is more than welcome to send in their papers for critique.
That even makes me think of if you're a high school student and maybe you're taking some of those college level classes.
Yes.
It was called post-secondary where I grew up, and they have that kind of option around here too. That's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How cool.
And the tutors are all the core subjects. So it's going to be your math, your science, your trig, your chemistry, your physics, your history and social studies, and third grade math and fifth grade English or language arts. And so it's going to cover all the core subjects. And when I connect with a tutor, I'll communicate with my tutor in our online classroom, which is a whiteboard and a chat area. And so that tutor will be there to work with me and answer any questions I might have. Also, we realize when students need help, it's not always about today's homework. Sometimes I may be struggling with a skill or a concept. And at times like those, and maybe I don't have a homework problem to put up as an example, my tutor can load a lesson up on the whiteboard and work through that lesson with me. And so it's not just if I get stuck on today's homework, it's any time that I may be struggling.
That's great.
Also, within the service, we have a host of other resources to complement the live tutoring. We have our Skill Surfer area that is a library of practice tests and assessments, worksheets and practice sheets, helpful articles, and in some cases, videos. And with our practice tests, I can take a practice test and get my results. Maybe it's third grade math, maybe it's sixth grade history, maybe it's an SAT prep test. And once I complete the test and get my results, if I choose to, I can connect with a live tutor who can access my test results and then work with me in a targeted fashion based upon what I got right and what I got wrong.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so this can be a real benefit to get extra help if I'm struggling with some concept or some part of a practice test.
And with family trying to help right now, like I tried to help my niece a few years ago, and I know my mom's tried to help. New math. I don't know how to do new math, and I could do the problem and I could show my work, but it clearly wasn't the way the teacher wanted it. And I remember there were tears and they weren't headlines, because the pressure of trying to figure it out and help her when this is not anything I was ever taught.
Right.
We hear this all the time.
I bet.
Parents or older siblings or someone can help the child up until there always comes that day.
Yeah.
That day where, oh, well, Mom, Dad, that's not how teacher does it.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I got the right answer. Well, okay, but that's not how teacher told us to do it. And so this, again, when that dreaded day comes, our tutors are there to help.
Oh, I love that so much.
That's so amazing. Well, we've talked a little bit about what it does, who it's for. Let's talk about how you get there. So I know that when we added this product to our repertoire of student learning resources, we added it to 2 different places on our website. You can get to it from our research page on our website, which is just delawarelibrary.org/research. And you look for BrainFuse Help Now. You can also go to our student learning page, which is delawarelibrary.org/student, and you can get to it from there. And then once they click on it, Jack, what are some of the things that people are going to see that they're going to want to look for? How do they get to that whiteboard, or how do they get to that writing center?
Sure. So when you're at the Help Now homepage, the services are split up into 3 columns across the page: expert help, study, and collaborate. And so to connect with my tutor, on the left-hand side of the screen under expert help, it says live tutoring.
Great.
And from there, I will go, and there will be 2 drop-down lists. I'll first select my grade level, and I can choose between kindergarten up through college. And depending upon what grade level I choose will determine what subjects are available. So for younger students, K through 2nd grade, I can choose between math and reading support. As I get older, more subjects are available. So when I'm in the 3rd grade, I have English, math, science, social studies, and writing support. And by the time I'm a high school senior, there are many more subjects, including things such as geometry and calculus and biology and physics, and so on. And so based upon the grade level, we'll determine what subjects I can choose from.
I so
and
could
then
have
I'll
used
just
that
click
in
the button,
science.
Get live help. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I so could have used that in science. I had to get tutoring from my boyfriend's father, who was a science teacher on stoichiometry when I was...
Date myself, I was the first class who had to pass the proficiency test to graduate high school. And I was so freaked out about it my freshman year. I went to tutoring every day after school for hours and hours because I was so sure I was going to fail that test. I flew through it.
Oh, sure.
This makes me not miss high school even more.
But something like this,
Yeah. We're sorry, Jack. We interrupted.
Yeah.
We got too excited.
Oh, no problem. So that's the left-hand side of the page under Expert Help Live Tutoring. Right below that is the Writing Lab, where, again, I can upload a draft of a paper I'm working on, and within 24 hours or the next business day, my paper will be critiqued and sent back. I do want to make a note that there's never emailing between tutors and students. All communication takes place within our system.
Yeah.
So I will upload my paper, and once my paper's been critiqued, I'll find it in my message center, which is part of the service as well. And so there's no emailing between tutors and students. All communication takes place within our system. Also, one thing I neglected to mention is I can connect with tutors who will communicate with me in English, But for those in the community that may be more comfortable communicating in Spanish, I can also convert the site to Spanish, and I'll connect with a tutor who will communicate with me in Spanish but assist me in the academic area that I need help with. And sometimes this is more relevant. The child may be very comfortable in their English, but their parent who may be sitting there with them may be a little more comfortable communicating in Spanish. Either way, it's here. It's part of the service.
That's great. Well, we are running short on time, and we didn't even begin to touch that we have a whole section on adult learning and job
Resume help.
resources, resume help. And so I think, Jack, we're going to have you back again.
That would be great.
That would be wonderful. So we'll have Jack back again. This is an amazing resource. Again, look for it on the DelawareLibrary.org website, either on the student learning page or on our research page. BrainFuse Help Now. Really wonderful product, and we're so happy to introduce it to all the students of Delaware County.
Just great. We can do this.
With your
Thank you.
free with your library card. Absolutely amazing. So in the time that we have left, Miss Molly, do you know of anything fun coming up this week? We have so many wonderful things. I think that you should tell us a little bit about the...
Why don't I talk about some of the Around the World in Books and Bites?
It's such a good club.
It is. You know, this is the one that sort of goes around. They explore the world through reading stories set in different countries and different things like that.
This one takes place in Iran.
It does. The stationery shop. Aladdin. It's going to be focused on Aladdin's Eatery in Powell.
Yeah.
Aladdin's, which is one of my favorite restaurants.
So what you can do is, since it's virtual, you can go and you can get your takeout from Aladdin's. You can sit in front of your computer, and then you can chat with the girls
And make sure
or
you get
guys.
dessert with it. If you've never had Aladdin's dessert, oh, it makes me so happy.
Worth it.
It makes me so happy.
And I just want to say, our Orange Branch is doing something super fun next week. Starting on Monday the 28th, every day of the week, they're doing a take-home craft bag. You can pop by the Orange Branch Library, and you can get, I don't know if they're all in one bag or you pick your bag, but they're going to have DIY crafts to do at home, like ribbon bookmarks, wrap necklaces, mini notepads, making a thankful tree, and a button pumpkin.
Who's the audience for this one?
Everyone
Everyone?
and adults. But mostly everyone. I mean, I would get excited about it. It's not for kids, though. It's not like, it's going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah, they're going to be a little more Pinteresty, sort of like the Pinterest crafts they used to do.
And there's just so much fun. Also, I want to just say it's coming up, your last chance to register to vote. So if you get yourself out and registered, that's going to be, we're going to have services that we're going to talk about every time you stop and visit us, Friday through next Tuesday, the October 2nd through October 5th, before it closes. And so, yeah, just make sure you get yourself registered
Every
to vote.
vote counts.
Every vote counts. All right. Well, that is our time. Jack, again, thank you so much for joining us. Molly, thank you for being my co-host.
I love being here.
Gage, thanks for manning the board.
Thank you, ladies.
And we will see you in the stacks.